And here's a view of Baron Zakareth being blocked by the heroes. Baron Zakareth cannot move through. However, you know who can move through?
Who?
The Shades, because they have flight, meaning they can just fly right through us.
But they don't have the thing. But they don't have a thing.
But they can get it. Baron Zakareth could drop it off, and they could take it. Now, it's the Overlord's turn, so he draws a card. And now, guess what's going to happen? He brings out another Shade. And he is going to have Baron Zakareth act. Baron Zakareth is going to drop the token right beside him. And then Baron Zakareth is going to attack one of us. Which one do you want him to attack? Let's go for Averick.
No!
Oh, that's a possible 5 hit.
No, for you, because Averick's more hurt.
I know, that's why he's going for him. Averick rolled, he got a 1. He's going to use his Shield of the Dark God to try to do better. He rolled, he still got a 1, so he takes 4 damage. Could you please pull out a 5 heart, Baba? He takes 4 damage. Now Averick is down to 5 hit points. We're going to go ahead and use the red guy. 1, 2, 3. He's going to pick up the token for 1 action. 4. The Overlord is going to play Dash, which allows the monster to make another movement. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, they're making a run for it, which doesn't bode well for the heroes. Now, we do get to activate the other monsters during this turn, and these are the 3 minions. And they are all going to attack Leoric. And we'll roll for all of them at the same time. First attack. 3 damage. Leoric takes 2. Oh, 4 more damage and only 1 defense. So he takes 3. And then the final attack.
Dada, I gotta go make a gingerbread house with Ezra and Buxton.
The Shade has 2 pierce, so he takes 1 more damage. Grisbin now has 10 damage and only 4 health left. Now, it's also the dragon's turn. He gets to be activated. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, that went his head. He's still not close enough to attack, but he'll stay there for now. Now, he could have just made a mistake. So we're now going to Grisban's turn. Grisban is going to try to close this gate. 3. I don't think he actually could lose. It's green. Let's confirm what the green color means. The green objective is the Rune Lock of Power, and that should be the Starburst symbol here, which he has a 3. So, he closes the gate, which means that any people he hits this turn are destroyed. So he's going to try to start hitting monsters now. Now, I don't think he has anything that lets him attack twice currently, but he can attack. And the question is, if he were to move, would that make more sense for him? I don't think this turn. I think we're going to try to hit that guy, and we're going to trust them to try to drop the other leader. There's 4 possible damage to one of the Shades. We'll pick the one furthest to the north. Shade rolls, gets 2 defense. That's not enough. That Shade is defeated. When Leoric defeats something, he gets a Valor token, which goes on his card. And he can use that in the future. Now, if we had something else to help him, it would be nice. We do not currently. So he's just going to have to wait and do some more work in a bit. Averick is going to use 1 fatigue to move next to the Shade, and is going to try to attack the Shade twice. 1 roll, he got 3 possible damage with his lore token, with his first token. That means he has the potential for 4 damage, and the Shade rolls, got 2 defense. Averick does not have a way to get through that defense currently, so the monster takes 2 hit points of damage. Averick is going to use his next attack to try the same thing. He also is going to use 1 more lore token just in case. Excuse me, Valor token. And that was not a good roll for him. That's a miss. He loses the Valor token, and the thing's still alive. Leoric is going to go ahead and attack as well. He rolls from where he is. 3 possible damage. The creature rolls a defense. No defense. And Leoric's going to go ahead and add a surge, which he's going to use to remove a fatigue. The creature dies. Then Leoric is going to use that fatigue to move 1 space, once again blocking off the Baron's movement, and he's going to use his last action to attack. Again, 5 possible damage. That's a really good roll. 0 defense. That means that the Baron takes 5 more damage. The only issue we have is that Averick is pretty hurt. It is now the Overlord's turn. He is interested in winning this, so he is not going to play nicely. We're going to begin by moving Baron Zakreth up here. He's going to attack Averick, and he rolls 4 possible damage. He's going to play Dark Might to add a surge to the attack, which gives him Pierce 2. Potentially. We'll have to see what the defense roll is. 2 damage. That would be 4 damage. That leaves Averick at 1 hit point. That does not bode well for our heroes. Averick should have healed himself last time, but he did not. Now he moved 1, so he's going to also move 1, 2, 3 back. So I'm re-recording this because we made a number of mistakes in the last part of the playthrough specifically that I wanted to correct. One of them was we forgot to use Leoric's ability to prevent 1 damage to heroes within 3 spaces of him. Basically, it subtracts 1 heart on all attack rolls if monsters are within 3 spaces of him. So each time that Averick was attacked, he would have received 1 less damage. And when we calculated that out, we think we have the calculation correct. He has 9 hit points of damage, for 3 total hit points remaining. We also felt that because of the distractions of just having children and doing things that we wouldn't normally do, that Averick would have used, during his turn, a prayer of healing. He might have used Divine Fury, but that wouldn't have counted for this turn because the bad guy was defeated, so we're not going to make that a big deal, but we are going to use Prayer of Healing to try to give him some more hit points. And I'm going to roll that now. And you can see the die here, he gets 2 hit points back. Now at this point in the game we have already taken the Baron's turn. It is now the Dragon's turn, the Ice Worm's turn. And he is going to make his move up to Averick. He's going to move here, and he's going to attack Averick to try to knock him out. If you remember, the Ice Worm rolls 1 blue and 1 red die. We roll, and he has 2 possible hits. The Ice Worm has reach, that's why he's able to attack from that distance. Averick rolls 1 defense, and he takes 1 additional damage. That puts him at a total of 8 damage. And we still have to play Grisban's turn. Grisban, unfortunately, is still at 4 remaining hit points. So he has to face off against these remaining minion shadows. They're going to attack him for 3 possible damage to begin with. So the Overlord has rolled 3 hearts, And he's going to play Dark Might, which gives him a surge, which the Shade can use for piercing. So this could be a really bad turn for our friend Grisbin. He'll go ahead and roll a 1, so all of his shields are ignored. He takes 3 more damage, and he is now 1 point away from being finished. And the second Shade will go. He rolls, and it is a really, really good roll. I do not think that there's anything that Grisbin can do here. He's going to roll his dice. He got 0, and that is it for Grisbin. Grisbin is knocked out. We put one of Grisbin's colored tokens in his spot. The good thing is, Grisbin has closed the gate in that area. The bad thing is, we need to get over there and help him. But to get over there and help him, we've got to get through this worm, and we need people to protect the Shadow Key, to prevent the Shadow Lord from getting the Shadow Rune. So, we are now going to have to start causing damage to the dragon. That was it for the Overlord's turn. We're now back to the heroes. And the heroes are going to try to destroy this dragon so they can get over and help Grisbin. The problem is, even if they destroy the dragon, they still have to try to get rid of the Baron. Strategy-wise, we really need that dragon out of the way. We can't actually walk through him. That'll give us a turn to get over and try to help Grisbin, which really isn't enough, especially with the other guy coming through. But we need a way for Grisbin to survive long enough in order to defeat those Shades. So we need the Shades to roll a miss, and then we need Grisbin to use his Valor token, which does not go away when he's knocked out, to try and defend against the Shades' attack. If he can get rid of one of them, he will be in a lot better shape because they do not respawn. So let's begin by trying to get rid of this dragon and trying to get rid of the Baron. Okay, Leoric will go first. Leoric has used 4 fatigue, not 5. That's to his advantage. He is going to go ahead though and just straight up attack the Wyrm. And he rolls, and that is not his most successful roll. Once again, he will try again. That is better. Much better. The Wyrm rolls as well, and gets 2 defense dice. Gets 2 shields, excuse me. We take away 1 because of piercing. That's 4 possible damage. The Orc is going to exhaust his Rune Mastery to add 1 more surge. That'll be 3 damage from this, with a surge for an extra damage, that's 4 damage, and a surge plus a fatigue. And the Orc is going to use Runic Knowledge. So the Orc uses his second surge to use Runic Knowledge to deal an additional 2 damage. That puts the total damage at 5, 6, 7, minus 1, so he has done 6 damage to the Wyrm with his 1 successful attack. That is quite useful. It's not exactly enough to defeat him, but it is good enough to give Avric a chance to defeat him. Avric also has another fatigue. He will use that to cast Prayer of Healing on himself. That will give him an additional yellow die for his next attack, just for his next attack though. So let's go ahead and roll his healing to see what he gets. Come on, good roll. And it is a good roll. It's 3 hearts, so he gains 3 hearts back, and a surge, so he gets to take away 1 of his fatigue. Then he is now going to attack the dragon, and he will roll his 2 yellow die and a blue die, and he will hope that the blue die is a hit. And it is. That's 5 possible damage. Dragon rolls 2 defense and gets a 1 defense out of that. I think that this is it for the dragon. That's 5 possible damage with a surge. Averick is going to use the surge to recover a fatigue, and that defeats the dragon, because that is a total of 5 damage minus 1, 4. The dragon had 3 hit points left. He is a goner. Now Averick still has 1 action, and he is going to move once and move twice and attack the Baron. So let's keep our fingers crossed that the Baron is weaker than we think. And the Baron dodges. Averick used his fatigue for no good reason on that particular turn. Grisbin, meanwhile, does the only thing he can do. He pops back up, and he hopes that the Overlord is not able to knock him down this turn. It is now the Overlord's turn. He will draw a card. He will play the card right now, just to see what happens. This is Dark Charm. It allows him to he's going to put this on Grisbin. Dark Charm, the hero must test his it's like his fate. I don't know what the circular symbol is, but he has to do a skill test, which for Grisbin, it's a 3. And if he does not pass, the Overlord can make him attack someone, including himself. So he's going to try. 3 or less. Oh, we got a 6. That is not a success. So Grisbin takes a swing at himself. Now he can't use any of his special powers or anything like that, but he can use surges, so no fatigue or anything like that. That is a really, really good hit against himself. 5 possible damage with a surge. That's 7 possible damage. I see no way he can defend. A 1 for defense. That means that Grisbin has just killed himself. Grisbin is knocked out. The Overlord draws a card, and we continue on. The Overlord is going to bring in another Ice Dragon, shown there, and the Ice Dragon will move 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Ice Dragon is moving closer to the pack again, and given the current situation, the Overlord is going to use the Baron and make the Baron walk around the heroes. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to take, for his second action, he's going to take the Shadow Key. He's then going to play the card Dash, which allows the monster to move. And the monster in this case is Baron Zakareth. So Baron Zakareth will move 1, 2, 3, 4. And Baron Zakareth is now within, if we zoom out a little bit, Baron Zakareth is very close to being able to leave the dungeon with the Shadow Key. The question remains, does the Overlord want to move these 2 monsters, or just keep them around Grisbin so they can continue to attack him when he stands up? I think the answer is we're going to leave them there. It's now the hero's turn, and we're going to begin by moving the orc there, possibly 1 more step, and then the orc is going to try to attack Baron Zakareth. 30 possible damage. Leoric also uses his Rune Master to add a surge to the attack. Baron Zakareth gets to roll 1 black die to defend, and he rolled a 4. That is unfortunate. That means that Baron Zakareth takes no damage. We may be in trouble here. 1, 2, 3, I'm allowing the heroes one change, and that's going to be I moved Leoric back one space so that Avric could get here. This is sort of their last hope, so we're going to give them this chance. We cannot use Prayer of Healing on Avric this turn because things are not looking so hot. But Avric does have one remaining Valor token, which he will spend to try to do an additional damage to the Overlord's Lieutenant. We roll. It is a good roll, actually. But it's going to depend on what the Lieutenant rolls, how good this roll is. 2. So, let's see how much possible damage we can do. We have reach, so we can hit. Pierce 1, we can use one of them to lower the defense die down to 1, which we can't do on this die, so I will just bring out this. 1 surge used. Then we can add a damage, so that's 2, 3, 4. We only need 3. And we have, let's see, we have 4 damage. I think we will recover 1 fatigue. And we destroyed Baron Zakareth. So he drops the key. Grisbin, in his trouble, gets to stand back up. Let's roll to see if he has more health than last time. He got 3 health back. That is better than at other times. So we just have to hope again that the shadows miss and that the dragon doesn't come chew into him. It's back to the Overlord's turn. At the beginning of his turn, he can do something special here. He can bring in the Baron again, I believe. And he can bring in the Baron from any location. So he's going to bring him in from the same location as before, I believe. Which I'll show you where that is, down here. So Baron Zakareth gets to act, as well as the dragon. Let's begin the turn by having those guys try to defeat Grisbin again. First guy goes. Oops, rolled the wrong thing. We will roll the blue die instead. Come on, X. It is not. It is 3 possible damage. Oh, Grisbin rolled 2 though, so that keeps him alive for the first attack. Let's roll again for these guys. We roll. It's 3 hearts. And Grisbin has played a Valor and gets 2 shields. That means he takes no damage. So he is not knocked out this turn, which will help a great deal on the next turn. Unless the dragon comes and gets him. Which I think is what he's going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he can put his base anywhere. And the dragon is going to try to attack. Three possible damage. Grisbin needs to roll a 2 on his defense dice. He rolled a 1. That means that Grisbin is knocked out again. The Overlord gets to draw another card. And Baron Zakareth gets to move. Okay. Now we have to make some decisions about what the heroes are going to do. We know that this check is a might check. The only way that the heroes can make this check is most likely with Avric. Avric has 2 might. Grisbin has 5. Grisbin would be the best, but I don't see us being able to get him out there. We could block Baron Zakareth again, or we could make a run for it. Baron Zakareth is going to need 3 more turns. I think that gives us enough time. I'll come out and zoom out so you can see where he is. That gives Avric enough time for possibly 2 attempts. So let's move Avric. 1 up, but wait. Right as we begin to move Avric, The Overlord plays this card Tripwire to try to prevent Averick from moving. With Tripwire, he has to test his dexterity. He needs a 2 or less. And this is going to be a very hard roll for him to succeed at. 3. Averick fails. His move action ends. Okay. Averick can also use his second move action. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Averick will stop there for now. Leoric, meanwhile, is going to take a rest action to remove all of his fatigue. And he's going to move... No, I think he's going to stay where he is and try to get the other guy next turn. And Brisbane will stand back up, which again, just giving the Overlord more cards. He gets 2 health back. And now we have to go through this whole process again. Let's begin the turn by playing... The Overlord is going to draw his card. It's the last one in his hand. We're going to play Unholy Ritual, and he's going to target the Shades. It allows him to draw 2 additional Overlord cards. Basically, up to 2, but he can target 1 group. And he's going to play Unholy Ritual once again to draw 2 more cards. We're going to begin by having the Shades attack Brisbane again. That is a really, really good hit. Brisbane is probably out. Brisbane rolled 1 defense. Piercing, so Brisbane is knocked out again. And the Overlord draws a card. The dragon, sensing he's not needed here, turns around and goes 1, 2, 3. He can put his form to fill up a space, so he stops there. But he knows that Averick can still get around him, so he's going to move forward 1 more space. And we're going to play Frenzy, allowing him to have an additional attack this turn, which he uses to attack Averick. 3 possible damage. Averick rolls to try to prevent it. He rolls a 1. He's going to use his Shield of the Gods to go again. 3, so he takes no damage. But the Overlord plays Frenzy again. And the dragon attacks and misses. You know what, though? The Overlord is not super happy about that, so he's actually going to use his Staff of Shadows. Exhaust this card and discard 1 Overlord card to force a reroll of any 1 die. So he discards Word of Misery and he rerolls the blue die. And that's a little better. 2 possible damage. But at this point, he's going to play Critical Blow. It allows the monster to use a surge to deal +3 damage. So there is 5 possible damage. Averick rolls and gets a 1. He's nowhere near Leoric, so he can't use that protective power. He has 9 damage, so he has 3 health remaining. It is now time to move the Baron. He moves 4 spaces. I think he, in this case, is going to play Dash, which allows him to have a second movement. He's going to move up next to Leoric and attack him. Excuse me, next to Averick and attack him. This doesn't count. There we go, 4 possible damage. He's going to play Dark Might to add an additional surge to the attack. Averick rolls, he gets 1 surge, but with this surge, Baron Zakareth is able to use a power called Pierce 2, which ignores this roll. That's 4 damage. That is enough to knock Averick out. So Averick is out of the game for now. until he brings himself back. Averick's token is magenta. Let's put a magenta token here. And it is now time for the heroes. Okay, the heroes go. We only have one hero who can actually go. If he can fatigue to here, so he will use all his fatigue, or 4 of his fatigue. He still gets to keep 1. He will use an action to resurrect Averick, or as close to resurrect as we can get. Averick gets 2 hit points back. No fatigue, unfortunately. And then he's going to go ahead and attack the Baron again. For possible damage. The Baron rolls a black die. He prevents 2. That is not great. Averick is back. He cannot use his Prayer of Healing unless he uses a rest, which is what he's going to do, to get rid of all his fatigue. Then he's going to use a fatigue to use his Prayer of Healing, which doesn't take an action. It allows him to roll 1 red die and regain 2 more hit points. And then he is going to use his extra attack die to attack the Baron for a pretty good hit. At least that 2 is a pretty good hit. The Baron rolls 1 black defense and gets 3. What we know is that we have Pierce, so we'll make this be 2 and we can ignore the surge, and that means the Baron takes 2 more damage. Grisbin stands up again, that takes all his action, and we move to the Overlord once again. The Overlord's going to begin by playing Dark Charm on Grisbin again. Can he make him knock himself out, is the question. The answer could be yes. We will find out. Five. So Grisbin attacks himself and hits himself for a possible 2. He does get to defend. Oh, 3. Let's see. It's actually, with the surge, he can do 4 damage, which means that Grisbin will take 1. Now the other monsters attack Grisbin. There goes shadow number 1. 2 possible hits. Basically, Grisbin is going to need a 3, which he gets. Piercing, so he takes 1 damage from that attack. And if the next shadow misses, Grisbin gets to live, possibly, through this attack. He did not miss. 3 possible damage. That's it. Grisbin has been knocked out again. And we put Grisbin's token back. The Overlord gets to draw another card. This is pretty repetitive. We're going to move. First of all, we're going to attack with the dragon. The dragon attacks Averick again. Averick has 8 hit points, so the dragon needs to do 4 damage. He rolls. That's a 3 possible. I do not think he has anything that can cause any additional damage here. So Averick rolls his dice to defend, gets a 0. He uses his Shield of the Dark God again, and still gets a 0. So Averick is down to 1 hit point. And we go one more time with Baron Zakrith, who's also going to attack Averick. And he hits him for 3 possible, plus a surge. And that's it. Averick collapses. The Overlord draws another card. He then uses this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he plays Dash once more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is it for the Overlord's turn. And we're back to the heroes once more. Leoric is going to use one of his turns to bring Averick back again. Oh, we get 3 hit points and a surge. That's better than the past. Averick now has 3 hit points. Leorc is going to use one of his fatigue to move here, and he's going to attack the dragon because he should have line of sight from there. Is that what he's going to do? I think we're kind of done here. He hits for 3 with a surge. The dragon rolls his 2 dice. 4. Okay. Pierce 1, so it's really 3, and he can use the surge to deal 1 damage. That's not super helpful, but at least it's a damage. Averick uses his 1 fatigue to heal himself. 2 extra hit points. He then can attack twice, with one of the times giving him 2 yellow dice, which he uses against the dragon. That's several damage. The dragon rolls 4 defense die. Okay, we have 2, 3, 4. With a surge, that gets rid of 1. So we deal 1 damage. He attacks once again, using the same general idea. Okay, there are 5 possible damage with 2 defense if we use both surges. That is actually 4. We get to remove 1 defense. So 4 minus 1 is 3. The dragon still lives, unfortunately. Grisbin stands up again and still has no abilities. And that is it for the player's turn. The Overlord draws a card. At this point, the Overlord is not going to play anything. He's going to use 1 action to pick up the Shadow Key, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 to move off the board. And at this point, we can actually read the ending, which is depressing, but ah, you fools, now my power is doubled. I will return my master to this world, and the baronies of Dakan will burn. And that's what happens when the Overlord wins. So the heroes have lost again. I'll show you the end, and I'm going to give the heroes more gold so that they can actually have a chance against the Overlord in one of the next adventures. So I wanted to summarize where we've gotten to through the interlude. Let's talk about the adventures we've played and the outcomes, and what's happened to the heroes because of these outcomes. The first adventure we did was First Blood, which is the original campaign. It's the introductory adventure, and the heroes readily won this one. The problem with this particular adventure is that everybody gets 1 XP no matter what, and it doesn't really matter to the outcome of the game, other than the fact that the heroes get to pick the first adventure. The second adventure we played was called The Cardinal's Plight. And the main reason we picked this one is that we hadn't tried The Cardinal's Plight before as an adventuring group, and it seemed like a good choice for us, because we wanted to try something new. Now, The Cardinal's Plight, the result of the Cardinal's Plight was that the Overlord won. And the Overlord managed to win a really good relic, a relic that has the potential to make the game more difficult for the heroes. And I'm going to remind you of what that relic is. We used it in this game. It's called the Staff of Shadows, and it had a very positive effect for him. He can use it to discard an Overlord card and draw another, or he can force a reroll of any die by discarding an Overlord card. And he used it in this adventure, and he will continue to use it. It's a nice artifact to have. At this point, the Overlord would normally get to pick the next adventure, but we decided instead to allow the heroes to attempt one of the expansion scenarios. The first expansion is called Lair of the Worm, and it's where the champion class that Grisban is currently playing comes from. And the adventure we played was called Gold Digger, shown here. This adventure went well for the heroes. They encountered Valindra, and they manage to overcome Valindra. And that's the piece of equipment that the heroes have. Arium Mail, shown here. And this has been one of the best pieces of equipment in the game. It's allowed our wizard to roll not just a gray die, but also a black die for his defense. And it's been really, really good. So, we continue to use that card. Basically, the wizard is almost impenetrable, at least from monsters in Act 1. We then continued into the next quest in the base campaign, and that quest was Death on the Wing. We'd heard this was a pretty easy adventure for the heroes, and it turned out to be. The heroes managed to make it off of the board without getting trapped, and when they got in to fight Belthir, they defeated Belthir without too much trouble. And this is what we would expect from this adventure. Because the heroes defeated Belthir, they got the Shield of the Dark God, shown here. And this has been equipped by Averick. He's allowed to reroll some or all of his defense die. This hasn't been super useful for him. He only rolls one defense die, and he tends to not roll much higher than what he originally rolled. But we do have this artifact. So the heroes have won one of the base game adventures. The Overlords won one of the ones that matter. For our final quest, we chose to do the quest that will eventually lead to a very powerful sword relic. And that particular quest was called Castle Darien, shown here. In this quest we meet Sir Alric Pharaoh. The heroes are trying to light bonfires in order to guide the militia to the ruins. And the heroes did this fairly quickly. A couple of villagers were lost, but not very many. And so the game continued at pretty much an even level when we entered into the second encounter, where Sir Palamon, who is the objective of the quest, the Overlord's trying to destroy him and the heroes are trying to protect him. Sir Palamon was defeated by the large number of monsters that came into the game. Because of this, the Overlord received 2 experience points, and he was able to buy an additional Overlord card. And I've mentioned the Overlord cards he has. He has 2 Unholy Relics, and he has Rise Again. He hasn't actually had an opportunity to use his more powerful Overlord card, but this is one he will use fairly soon. Unholy Ritual, though, I think I said Unholy Relic before. Unholy Ritual is one of the best cards in the game because it allows him to draw a lot more Overlord cards. So the Overlord won that, giving the Overlord 2 victories to the heroes 1 in the main campaign. That meant that the heroes have to select from the 2 different adventures, the Shadow Vault versus the Overlord Revealed. They have to select the Overlord Revealed. And that's the game we've just watched. The Overlord Revealed was much harder for the heroes than I thought it would be. Things appeared to be going fairly well up until about midway through the game. The heroes started out, they managed to close the first rune nearest the entrance. That was it's called the Rune Lock of Cunning. So they cut off the appearance of the fire imps. The heroes then split up because the Overlord was running with the Shadow Key fairly quickly. And the reason the heroes split up is so that 2 could stand guard in this passage, which I'll remind you of here in this drawing, to block the monsters from moving through to the exit with the Shadow Key. The problem we had was that Grisbin, who managed to get down to the southern portion of the map and managed to close the portal at the southern portion. Remember, these portals are a little different because of the way we played the game. Grisbin got locked up by the shades that were in that corner of the room and was unable to have any additional movements because he kept getting knocked down. And each time we defeated the large ice worm, it would just reappear and come back out and start attacking the heroes again. This made it very, very difficult for the heroes. They were unable to move the Shadow Key and they were unable to complete their final objective of closing down this last rune lock. We need to find a way to even the odds. The heroes are somewhat powerful, but probably not powerful enough for the next adventure. I need your help in deciding what we're going to do to increase their strength. To begin with, I want to give the heroes some gold. I looked through the treasure pile and the number of treasures that are in each adventure, and I was thinking, if normally for a 4-player game, the heroes get 4 possible treasure. There are normally 2 encounters, that would give us 6 chances for treasure, plus the introductory, plus the expansion quest, that's 8, plus the interlude, that's 9. So 9 times 4 is 36 chances for treasure. The heroes haven't taken advantage of that. They've been trying to win the game in a real way. 36 chances is a lot, and if we have an average gold gain of 50 per quest, that would put us at about 1,800 gold. I don't think I want to give them that much, but I do feel we should give them some gold to begin the next portion of the quest. Secondly, I feel we should bring in another hero. I've heard that the game is sort of hard with 3. So if we were to bring in a 4th hero, would that give the heroes more of an advantage? I feel like this should be a closer game, and I feel the Overlord is somewhat overwhelming the hero. Therefore, what I want to do is spend some time thinking about which hero might be best to play. And I want this hero to be one of the heroes from the Scout deck. I don't know which one, but I would like to know your opinions. Is there a hero that is fairly powerful that could help the adventurers as they continue on their quest? If you have opinions, please put them in the comments. I realize that maybe you don't have opinions, and we're a fairly new site, so not a lot of people are watching yet, but we need guidance. Whichever hero you feel would be the most useful, we'll look through it and we'll look at your comments and think about which one we want to select. Also, give me your thoughts on gold. How much gold should the heroes be receiving? Should we give them 1,000 gold to start off at the beginning of the second act? And will that be enough to allow them to purchase some things from the second act market in order to increase the strength of their heroes? Any input would be great. We might even mix in a few of the Act 1 cards just to give them some variety, and hope that Grisbin is able to purchase an armor, possibly Avric as well, because the monsters in the next act are going to be much stronger. Thanks for your time, and we appreciate any feedback you provide. Note that the Overlord has captured the Shadow Rune, which will make the hero's life a little bit worse. Lord Zakreth is going to be a little stronger the next time. Baron Zakreth is going to be a little stronger the next time the heroes encounter him. Help us find a way to even the playing field a little bit and make the adventure a little more fun for the heroes. We appreciate any input. Until next time, this is Playthrough Board Games.